Sunday morning, July the 27th. Rise and shine. Good morning to you. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, hopefully getting your day started off on the right note. Another day with impact weather. Want to get that right out to you through Wednesday now. Your first warning weather team has called for a stretch of dangerous heat. Thus, we need to make sure that you're aware of it. All right. That's why we're calling for impact weather. So let's do this. Let's just take a look at these next couple of days. All right, we're going to take a look at Central Florida's certified most accurate 7 day forecast just to see where we're headed. All right, we'll start here and then we'll work backward. Today's high temperature, 97 degrees. Outdoor plans are going to be needing to be scaled down in terms of intensity. All right, it's going to be hot, a limited 10% coverage of passing showers and even thunder showers. Tomorrow, same thing, but hotter. Tomorrow is going to be the hottest day not only of the year, but the hottest day we've seen in quite some time, with temperatures hitting 99 degrees in Orlando. Then on Tuesday, 98 degrees our high temperature. Then on Wednesday, 97. And then finally, on Wednesday, we'll start to get more storms in the forecast. That's going to help to draw down those temperatures a bit. But you notice, look at Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's not like we completely push the heat out. We're just kind of bringing storms in, which will limit us from getting into just wild and crazy territory. For today, once again, heat advisories are in effect. This runs from noon until 7 p.m. So that's going to be the danger zone as feels like temperatures cross up to about 110 degrees. Okay. And just so that you know, it's not just us in Central Florida. Look at all of the geography that is under heat advisories from our nation's capital to just outside of Chicagoland, right? Fort Smith, Arkansas, right? Just outside of Atlanta. You're looking at Mississippi, you're looking at Alabama, you're looking at Memphis, right? There's a lot of areas that are feels like temperaturing. Did I just make up a new term? Yes, I did. Thank you very much. That are feels like temperaturing. Very, very hot. And here's why. Okay, now through Wednesday, Thursday, mid and upper levels, essentially, we've got this big ridge of high pressure, and it's just sitting there. And as it just sits there, and I've talked about this before, but this is one of those meteorological phenomenons that is just interesting. It's called compressional heating. Okay, I'm getting the next graphic ready. Bear with me. It's called compressional heating. So essentially, high pressure compresses the air, and as it compresses it, it sinks, it compresses, and it heats. It is the exact same physiology. It's the exact same way that your car engine's cylinders create that combustion. The atmosphere is atmosphering. Now, we don't have a spark plug or gasoline, but you get the overall idea. It's the same principle of it, okay? So let's do this. Let's look at today's heat index forecast, all right, for Orlando, just to kind of give you an idea, okay? We're going 105, 107 for today, right? It's that 2 o'clock time frame that's going to have the most dangerous elements there. All right, that's in Orlando. Let's look at Ocala today. Feels like temperature crosses to 111, right? Now you're getting into the danger category. That 110 mark is really the danger zone, right? Palm Coast, let's take a look at you, up to 108 for feels like temperature. Leesburg, up to 108, right? I'm not going to get to everybody, but I'm going to go through a bunch of these. 104 in Palm Bay, Melbourne, you're getting up to 103. That sea breeze at least is going to help things out a little bit, right? So that's kind of where we're at, my friends. Okay, very, very hot air. And for Orlando, with tomorrow going to 99, we went back to look. When was the last time we got even hotter? The last 100-degree day, I remember well, was August 12th, 2023. I remember looking and seeing that we had hit 100 and being like, oh, yeah, no thanks. We're going to be awful close tomorrow. 99, the record for tomorrow's date is 101 for the calendar date. Okay. So that's kind of where we are. Now, yesterday was hot. Don't get me wrong. Let me pull up yesterday's highs. Almanac, that's today's highs. Almanac, yesterday highs. So here's some of the temperatures for yesterday. Hit 95 in Orlando. I mean, think about it. We're going to do well more today. 97 in Ocala. Did we really hit 97 in Ocala? Let me just make sure that that's not like overridden. Hold on a second. I need to make sure the data is good here. I didn't QC it before, so yeah, I mean that's what we got. Okay. Yikes. That was a hot one. So there you go. We're headed into that terrain. And then of course, you also figure we've got all the humidity in play. So we are sitting at humid on the muggy meter. That's the dew point temperature, right? So that's kind of where we're at. All right. So record high versus high temperatures today. Here's kind of where we're at, getting near records. Don't suspect we'll get to a record in Orlando. Forecast is 97 today. Record is 100. Hope we don't get there. Sanford, 97. Record is 99. We're going to be awful close in Leesburg. We're going to be awful close in Leesburg, right? Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. All right. So whatever your plans are, if you're heading out to the attractions, seriously, take it easy. This is not the kind of heat you joke around with at all. Just at all. You cannot do that. Okay. Yeah. Um, so, it's just kind of one of those things. Okay. All right. So, we good with that? Everybody good with that? We've got Saharan dust kind of also in our mix, which means that the air quality, and we talked about this yesterday on Coffee Talk a little bit, the air quality is not great. We're not to dangerous categories with the air quality, and I would add that typically in our area, the air quality is fine. Usually, like I'd say 92% of the time, Central Florida's air quality is good. But when we throw in some Saharan dust, when we throw in a little temperature inversion up top where it kind of traps all the particles down here at the surface, this is where we end up. So sensitive breathers may want to take it a little easy. All right. Matt says the Kennedy Space Center is a great attraction on a hot day. It's all inside and even bus tours are air conditioned. That's not a bad idea. I like that. I'm just getting over to the comments, so forgive me. All right, let me pop up the 7-day forecast, and then we can chat a little bit about the comments. And then what I'll do is I'll take you around the next couple of days in terms of temperatures so that we can go over that. But there's the 7-day. Let's take some of these comments. And I apologize. I was on my spiel. I made it 8 minutes today before I looked at the comments. My apologies. Amy's asking, will we have any winds to help with this heat? Not a ton. The problem is with that ridge of high pressure, if we were caught between weather makers, we would have some breeze. But because that area of high pressure is almost right over top of us, it's really just sitting and keeping still. Um, there's not much wind today. There'll be a light breeze, but you're not talking about any kind of a decent one. Kim says, literally a pressure cooker. That's literally what a ridge of high pressure over top of you does. You get that compressional heating. That's exactly what it does. Yeah. So you're saying we're about to explode, Tad says. I wouldn't go that far. But I mean, you know, let's call a spade, right? Like, f- my favorite term is Florida's going to Florida. This is extra. This is extra Florida. This is Florida wanting to say, hold my beer. And much of the country, too. This happens every summer, right? Why is he hyping over heat? I get it that this happens every summer. This is also our way of saying to you, this is the stretch that it's happening. Okay. So I just want to make sure we're all good with that. Mike says it's so hot here. I actually turned down going golfing this morning. I get that. Energy bill also has an impact forecast, extreme highs in the numbers. Yeah, you're not wrong. Taylor says we were at Jackie Robinson Stadium for Vince Carter's jersey retirement at night, and at 5 to 6, people were still dropping from heat because it was so hot. It's true. This is not your normal Florida, right? This is extra. This is extra, right? I was thinking Disney today, then walked outside this morning and changed my mind. Right? Right? Yeah. Tim, does your Mac keyboard have a control button? If so, use it to control the weather. That's funny. I do have a control button, as it turns out. I don't think it's going to work in the venue you're requesting it to work in. That's funny though. I got to give you credit on that. Cooling towels worked wonders for us last week. Yeah, so Christy, so that's one thing. Pro tip. I mean, I feel like I'm talking to mostly Floridians here. But pro tip, they sell at Walmart and at Target those little they're like little cooling towels. I literally just throw it in the water, throw it over my neck, and evaporational cooling. And then to that point, when you need to throw more water in it, throw more water in it. But yeah, we've got to stay cool in this. We've got to stay cool one way or another. Heard the guy who invented the heat index died. He was 81 but felt like 112. Jeez Louise. He did just pass away, actually. Yes. Can you forecast my electric bill after the heat of the month? Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah. Shauna says, I do believe I will be chilling in the pool most of the day. I got to tell you, the pool forecast is looking great. Today's one of those days, right? Low rain chance, which means you don't have to worry about, is that a thunderstorm? I mean, there's going to be a little bit of rain. Like yesterday, just when I glanced at the radar, I saw some rain in Marion County, right? So saw that. But other than that, um, yeah, it was okay. It was an okay one. Dan says the Orlando Science Center is a great place to cool off. My kids love it too. They keep their air conditioner cool. And so, Dan, I would also say I'm on the board of trustees at the Orlando Science Center. So I am biased. I spend a lot of time, effort, and money at that place. But I would add every dollar you spend and I spend at the Orlando Science Center goes to an unbelievable cause. And the things that they do out in the community that I feel like people don't even realize is a huge thing. So, taking my WESH hat off, putting on the Orlando Science Center Board of Trustees member hat, um, that's a great organization. Taking my Board of Trustees hat off, putting my WESH hat back on, that's an incredible organization. The Orlando Science Center is fantastic, and they have air conditioning. Yeah. Lucas is asking, when can we expect the hottest temperatures tomorrow? And what is the estimated heat index? Yeah, so let's do this. Let's just start by looking at the forecast numbers day by day. Okay, so here's today. Again, 5 to 10 mile per hour breeze. You can see it there kind of on that. Are those grays? Is this happening? Am I going more gray? Good gravy. All right. Winds northeast 5 to 10 miles an hour. 97 in Orlando today, 97 degrees in DeLand today, 93 New Smyrna Beach. So no matter where in Central Florida you are, it will be a scorching hot day. All right, so let's just talk temperatures first, and then we can get into the feels like temperatures, okay? So that's for today. Let's go to Monday. This is going to be the hottest of the days, okay? High temperatures tomorrow, 99 in Orlando, 99 in Sanford, 99 in the Villages, 94 in Daytona Beach, 94 degrees in New Smyrna Beach, 92 in Melbourne. All right, here's Tuesday. Tuesday's not going to be quite as hot, but it's still going to be hot. 98 in Orlando, 99 degrees in Sanford, 94 in Daytona Beach, 98 in the Villages, right? So that's scorching. And then by Wednesday, all right, we're going to start to see a bit of a pattern shift. A little bit. 97 in Orlando, 96 in Leeds. Right? You're starting to see us coming down off of it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Right? Not much, but it's starting. Okay. Now let's talk about feels like temperatures. All right. Give it a second to load. Okay. So here we are. By about lunchtime, 105 in Orlando, 108 in Wildwood. There's 1 p.m. 109 in the Villages. Feels like 110 in Ocala. Feels like 108 in Claremont, right? Yeah. That's today. Let's go to tomorrow. Right? There you go. 3 p.m. Monday. Feels like 110 in Claremont. 111 in the Villages. Feels like 106 in Daytona Beach. Yeah. This is dangerous heat. Now, I've got those feels like temperatures. Somebody, I'm sure, is going to say that's the temperature, the heat index. There's no such thing as heat index. I feel like every year that comes out. Do I need to do the equation again? I feel like every year I'm gonna do it. If I can find it. Here it is. In case you're curious, the heat index formula is this. It's a very complex math problem that I did not come up with. But I just feel like every year when we get into this week, people start questioning that like the feels like temperature is an actual thing, the heat index. So I've got this on standby. In case you're curious, the heat index equals negative 42.379 plus two, times the temperature plus 10 point, times the relative humidity minus 0.2 times the temperature times the relative humidity. I didn't come up with that. It's way more complex than my brain wants to handle. Thank goodness we pay the bill. The computer does the computer stuff, and it is what it is. So, anyway, there's that. All right, let's look outside. It's beautiful this morning. That equation makes my head hurt. Live look outside, top left, tourist district. Looks like there's a bug on the lens. Enjoy your day, buddy. Ocala looking gorgeous. Look at Port Canaveral, gorgeous. New Smyrna Beach, bottom left, looking gorgeous. It's a gorgeous start to the day. At least we've got that going for us, right? First warning, live Doppler radar. Scanning around, not finding anything, right? I mean, there's some stuff out in the Gulf Coast, but that's moving away. That's not going to bother us. Temperatures out the door, we are already in the 80s. Okay, so it's a warm start. We can handle that. Forecast today, of course, gets hot though. That's the big story. Not much breeze. 95 our 1 o'clock temperature, 97 degrees is going to be a hot one, my friends. All right, 97 degrees. And without much breeze, we're not going to get much of a relief from it. Okay? Questions about our local stuff, and then we can go out and look at the tropics. Laura says heat related injuries are no joke. I'll never understand how people say you hype the heat. I agree. I just think that the hype machine has changed. I mean, people think that, us doing our jobs is hype in general at this point. So I don't really know what to say to that. Terry says some people just don't know how to keep hydrated. It worries me. I would admit I'm one of those people that doesn't do a great job of hydrating. I feel like even though I keep water with me, I am not good at it. I'm just not great at it. So, yeah, I get it. Still jump in the pool if the water's boiling from this heat. It's still cooler than the air. That's a good point. Yeah. Let's see here. What is your favorite protein shake? Oh, the cafe mocha. I drink two of them a day and have for years at this point. Yeah. Victoria says have to check the science center out. Honest to goodness, like I know that I'm on the board and so I'm biased. But even before I was involved in the organization, I loved it. I grew up going to the science center. Like as a parent now, I'm like, it's air conditioned and my kids can learn. That's perfect. But it's so much more than that. Like and I've said this. This is the ADHD checking in. But like I remember as a kid, I would walk into the lobby of the old science center, and there was a kiosk. And do you know what displayed on the old kiosk? This. It was just a live feed of the WESH radar. That's it. Like, how exciting is this? I mean, it was in the 90s and the 80s. Well, it was in the 90s because the live radar at WESH went in like 95, 96. So it would have been like mid 90s. So I would be like 10, 11, 12 years old. I just stood there and would watch this. It didn't zoom. You couldn't interact with it. It was this live radar, a kiosk displaying this. Y'all, when there was rain, I would beg my mother to take us so that I could go and stare at this. Now, years later, I love the fact that I get to do something like this. I get to zoom it in now. I get to play with it. But you know what I mean? Like that is a piece of my story sparking me. And pro tip, since we're talking about the Science Center, pro tip, can I share something with you? The most amazing to me, the most amazing artifact in that entire Science Center is in the dinosaur area over near the flight lab on that wall. There's an artifact. It is a piece fabric of the Wright Flyer that flew on Apollo 11 to the moon. So essentially, it's a piece of fabric that was on the first manned flight that also went on the first manned mission to another celestial body. Anytime I'm there, I'm always like, hey, y'all need to see this. And they're like, who are you, dude? And I'm like, doesn't matter. Come look at this. Okay. All right. Enough of that tirade. Enough of that tirade. All right. Let's see here. Any other comments, questions, concerns, anything? Let's see. Heat index of 150,000 yesterday, a little bit. Lucas is asking, so on Twitter, so why is heat index important? How does it feel a certain temperature if it's another? I've only heard you explain it a million times. Yeah, I mean, the higher the humidity and the dew point, the more it just feels soupy on your body, the more it impacts you on your body. But it's a dry heat. That's the example. Like you're in the desert, it's 150 degrees and you could still operate because it's dry. In Florida, it ain't going to be dry. So that's why. Yeah. All right. All right, let's talk about the tropics, shall we? Looking out at the satellite imagery, happy to say for right now, there is nothing going on. Dinosaur area. Isn't that where Marsh, Satterfield, and Clark are? That's funny. Why'd you have to drag poor Satterfield into it? Dave Marsh's been there many, many times. Pat Clark's not that. Or Dave Satterfield. I think he's still working. Or no, maybe he just retired. I digress. All right, to the tropics we go. There is nothing. I repeat, nothing. I gotta be honest with y'all. You know, in the world that we live in the world that we live in, where algorithms drive clicks, I am finding that I am becoming a get off my lawn kind of guy because I am finding people, even that I respected, that are doing the hypey stuff because they're wanting clicks. Where in the world did that start? Because now what I'm finding is people that I respected are doing this for clicks. Now, I don't know if they're monetizing their stuff. I just don't know. But, oh, it's Jim Clark. Got it. Apologies. Yeah, so like in a world where algorithms dictate monetization, you get hypey weather people. You're not going to get that from me. I am so anti that. It literally gives me, and this is a millennial term, it gives me the ick. I get the ick so much this time of year from people that hype. So I would step back and say, there is nothing expected to develop over the next 7 days' time. We can look at patterns, we can look at models, and we do that. But when you've got weather people that are like, hurricane signal showing up, what? Anyway, I feel like it's getting worse and worse. And these are people in my profession that I used to respect. Man, I, am I at the age where like I just start losing respect for people too quickly? I don't think so. I just think that people are jumping the shark. All right, so high pressure moves out. There's a little piece of energy that's wanting to cross. And you see right there, like the Florida Panhandle, like right around Mobile, that bluish color there. That's a little piece of energy. Now, let me show it to you in a different way. Give me a second. Let me show it to you in a different way here. Okay. Essentially, what happens is this area of high pressure that is giving us all this heat breaks down, and there's a little piece of energy that kind of sweeps in and hangs along the northern Gulf Coast. It looks like it stays onshore. Thus, this should not become a tropical thing. Okay? Should not become a tropical thing. But it's that blue shading that you see there up into the northern Gulf Coast. All right? Let's go to the basin view. And let's restart this. All right. So So a whole lot of nothing so far. Now, you see there a couple little pieces of energy coming off the coast of like the mid-Atlantic into the North Atlantic. You see that? Couple little areas there. May see something to watch. This is the GFS. Okay, but that's all we've got there on the GFS. All right. Let's look at the European. All right. That's as far as the 6Z goes. The 0Z goes a little further, so we'll run that. It's trying to show something off the coast of the mid-Atlantic again, nothing threatening us. And then right at the end of the European, you kind of see here, it's trying to show a little something near the Antilles there. Let's go back a model run. And it had it a little further toward Florida or toward the Bahamas, what have you. But the European is trying to sniff something out here, right? You see it there kind of on that right-hand side of the screen. So for this, it's always good to come over and start looking at the ensemble plots. The ensemble plots give us the ability to look at basically 51 different flavors of each model. Now at the very end here, we're starting to see some ensembling showing perhaps stuff around the 12th of August around the Caribbean. No significant indicators of development. Let's go back a run to the 0Z GFS. But the ensembling is starting to show around the Caribbean islands here. If we go to the Lesser Antilles, oh, it doesn't have a Lesser Antilles view. Of course it doesn't. But we're starting to see some ensembling showing stuff, some signs of life. All right, so there's that. We'll go out to the basin view. We'll switch over to the European ensembles. Notice Central Atlantic, starting to see some signs of life there, working over toward the Lesser Antilles. That's as far as the 6Z goes. Let's go to the 0Z. Yeah, so notice, let me come over to the Caribbean view, and we'll look on the right side here. You see some of those little circles there? That's the ensemble indicating something. The ensemble products trying to hint at something around, right? So getting into August, it does look like things may try to wake up just a little bit. Euro AI, let's go to the broad view on that. Pressure, normalized anomaly. Let's go to the basin view. All right, Euro AI. Euro AI trying to pick up on something. Look at that right there. You see that? Kind of developing something around the 4th and then beelining it towards South Florida. Nothing strong, but there's, and then it wants to make it a bit stronger. Uh, let's go back a run. That's the 6Z. We'll go to the 0Z showing something, the 18Z showing something. So here's the thing. You're going to see the hypers are going to show this. But you saw the Euro doesn't show it. The GFS doesn't show it. The Euro AI has something. Okay, well, that's one. Let's look at the Euro AI ensemble products. We'll go back to the beginning here. Yeah, so it's showing signs of life around August 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. But it is a much more bullish product than anything else, any other model. Okay. So if you see somebody showing hurricane signal to Florida, remember, what are you actually looking at? Consider your source. This time of year, consider your source because it's quiet out there now and there's no development expected over the next 7 days' time. It's something to watch, but man, consider your source, please. Okay? All right. Questions about the tropics? Questions, comments, concerns about the tropics? Evelyn says, great, right around the first day of school. Well, again, computer models are guidance, not gospel. And if you noticed, one model showed it, the others really didn't. There's indicators, but that's it. Matt says, pick the model run to fit your narrative. Don't let reality drive the truth. That's what some people are doing. It's amazing. And I feel like it's getting worse and worse. I really do. I really do. Laura, be good. Take care. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns about the tropics? I'll pop up our 7 day forecast. That way we can all get an idea of this big heat too while we're chatting about things. Yeah, it's concerning. Jamie's asking on Facebook, when is the Saharan dust leaving? It's making my sinuses crazy. It's going to be a couple of days, right? But I'll also tell you that typically during the month of August, the Saharan dust shuts down, and that's when hurricane season really picks up. Yeah. No tropical questions, but we want to know if you'll give us a tour of the Science Center. Hey, for the right donation to the Orlando Science Center, I can be bought. Is there anything over in the bay? Over in the Bay of Campeche? No, there's nothing over there for now. No. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns, friends? Thank you for all that you do. It's refreshing to get only the reality with no hype. Thank you, Lou. I appreciate it. I've always said it's one thing to like get your trust, it's another to keep it. So I'm going to do everything I can to give you the reality of what we're looking at. I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed when I see people. Hurricane signal. Disappointing, right? Disappointing. Thank you, Leslie, over on YouTube. I appreciate it. The quest for clicks is ridiculous. I hate to say this, and this is very negative. The only thing that makes me feel better about the quest for clicks is when I see people calling these the hype meteorologists out hurricane signal, and you see the comments are like, that's a little much. Like that's the only thing that makes me feel better is like the general public does recognize that. The non-wet, like we're weather nerds, like you guys would recognize that, but like a general non-weather nerd who's watching a half an hour weather broadcast every day, they recognize like maybe you're being a little hypey. That makes me feel better about things. Like, okay, maybe people recognize hype. I just am so afraid that this algorithm-based society is going to put good information on the back burner. What are you going to do? Yeah, there's the coastal forecast. Even for our coastal communities, it's going to be boiling these next couple of days. Best opportunity for storms along the beaches Wednesday and Thursday. But the big heat is going to be across our interior spots. Yeah. Hyperologists. That's funny. Detention for me, no negativity. I get it. I know. Jan says coffee's empty now. Must start on water. Indeed, indeed, indeed. All right. Thank you, Lori, on YouTube. I appreciate you. Agreed. Agreed, Yukon. She was never about it either. She was never, ever, ever about the hype, ever. Thank you, Sarah, on Facebook. I appreciate you. Yeah, Tammy, I don't know. I don't know. Any extreme heat watch possible? We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see at the end of the day. We're going to be hot. I don't know that we're going to quite get there for an extreme heat watch. I mean, I don't know that we're going to quite get to the criteria for all of those other elements. I mean, feels like temperatures look like they're going to hang around 107 to 110. We'll have to wait on more modeling to see if that wants to trend a little higher or not, right? All right. All right. That's all I've got for you, my friends. Sound good? All right. Listen, thank you for hanging out for Coffee Talk. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you tomorrow morning.